Hey everyone, we're back here on Rocktopia, and we're here in Hell to do a little bit of tree cutting and backfill some of them looting skills that I talk about every so often. And so we're going to start with the skill pill, because I like to maximize our gains here. It's also why we have the reload gear on. And let's go ahead and pull up the skill tracker today, just because I want to track our resource gathering. As you can see, there's a bunch of trees down here. Oh, let me show you guys where we're at. So we're down here in Hell, and I like to go to this teleporter and just go kind of southeast, southwest, east, southeast, down to about here. Let's take this area off so you can kind of see where it's at. So it's here, kind of in this area, and then across up in this area. And if we have time left over, which we normally don't, on the skill pill, there's also a grouping of trees all down in here. Or if someone's already up in this area and you just want an area to yourself, you can check out that other area. It's kind of ironic that Hell has so many trees, and it's such a great harvesting area, you know, because it's trees in Hell. Oh, there's genetics. That's a mutant looter skill. And so we're trying to work that up a little bit. We're trying to boost all of those more lower lying skills for us. Things like zoology, biology. Alertness is a looter skill, but it's super cheap. And so it's nice we get it though. It's a nice little add-on. But it's one of the cheapest skills in the auction house if you're trying to boost yourself up. Perception's a big skill. And there's been argument even before looting 2.0 that it was an important looting skill. But perception is nice because you can also work it up through hunting and whatnot. And there's daily quests, especially on Tolan, that give perception as a reward. I think it's the 35 Bari that gives a nice little bonus. All right, not. Let's see where our next tree is going to be. Up in here. And we actually brought the tools from Cyrene since we were there last week, and I knew we wanted to do a little tree hunting when we landed. Just because they're so much better tools, and they look cooler. I mean, they definitely look cooler, but them being actually better tools to use is the main reason we grabbed them. And so this is nice for boosting up a handful of different professions. We're out here for the looting profession today, but as you can see, we're getting a little bit of geology, and so that's a nice kind of lead in if you're interested in starting mining, but you don't want to be cycling a bunch of ped through yourself to get those skills. You can boost some of the peripheral skills up a little bit, and I would argue it gives you a little bit of a leg up when you start. because you're already class skilled a little bit from a different, uh, like a cross class skill type deal, where you're like, no, these two things kind of share this skill. Dexterity is the other one you're going to get out here. You get that, I'm pretty sure, with all tools you're using your hands with. Um, so tree cutting, rifleman, probably pistol too, I would imagine. And so you'll get that one from actually hunting and stuff. But again, it's nice to get an additional bonus of that. Um, the flip side for dexterity and perception is that there are codex rewards that I end up taking probably almost every time. Because the other skills I don't feel hold the same value for me that are offered up. And so even up around level 40, you can see we've already gained about 0.5% of a level. We'll get, 3-4% on a run, even now, which doesn't seem like a lot. And I kind of expect that to go down a little bit as we start breaching up the next couple of levels. Now, there's a bunch of that zoology. We definitely want that. It's a looting skill. The only other ways I know to get it are pet taming and scanning, and both of those I think are a little expensive, especially for me. Well, the scanning, it just doesn't go up real fast. It's even slower than tree cutting, and it's a total loss. You get nothing back from scanning, except some skills you can never get anywhere else. We're talking about using biology, but outside of that, scanning doesn't, I feel, hold the same value. And so I wouldn't be scanning until I'd unlocked that xenobiology skill. Because again, I don't know of a single other way to raise that one, and it's expensive to raise up as well. We broke a tool when we were on Cyrene, and when I did the math on the xenobiology skill that we gained, if we were just counting the cost of the tool used and only the xenobiology gained, it was something like 90,000% markup cost because we were using a skill pill. And so really, you're only gonna get fucking 60,000% markup. Is literally and so like you get 1/60,000th of the value of the tool you were using for that skill. And so like, I mean, the math's really hard on that one. So if you were to burn 60,000 ped in tools, you would get like one ped in skill, which is like, I don't know, like 400, 500 points or something like that. Really small. But my math might be off this morning a little bit. In any event, really high markup. No one sells it. The only way to get it that I know of is scanning. And since you'll go scan for an hour, and even at like 200 points, you only get like 4 or 5 points. It's extremely time consuming and slow. I guess that's kind of the same thing. So expensive and slow. But if you're trying to have a reasonable amount in all of the skills that contribute in, at some point you have to bite the bullet and do a little bit of that. Oh, there's a little bit of analysis. You'll get that from scanning as well. but we get a fair amount from most of our analysis comes from the tree cutting. Again, it's pretty slow going on the scanning. I think a scanning tool is like 7 pad, hour and a half ish, 2 hours to break one. And so the returns are amazing in skill for that 7 pad. And I think we're getting pretty close to breaking this first tool. And no, I would classify this as the second best tree cutting area in Entropia now. The Cyrene one, especially with being able to use the instances to spot the trees, I feel is hands down better. This is just nice because we were coming to Rocktopia to do a little Calypso codexing and maybe work on a couple of skills or a quest or two. We'll probably do a big zombie hunt, keep working on that National Guard, getting onto that National Guard line a little bit and stuff like that. And so I figured it was a nice opportunity because the area is still good for tree harvesting, obviously. So I thought we would still take advantage of it while we were here this week. Because it's nice to have all these skills. They're pretty high markup. Last time I looked, I think analysis was in the 3,000% zone. Zoology and biology were also in that same 3,000% zone. And so it's expensive if you just want to chip it all in and cut the work part out. It's possible though. Not with the xenobiology, unless you know a special broker. I mean, like, and I know a special skill broker or two, and like they don't have it. So I mean, like, you got to know the man if you want to be picking that up on the market. Normally, normal looting skills you can track down pretty easy, it seems. That specific one was, well, absolute fail for me when I was looking for it because it does go up so slow. And so now with these tools, it's about one every 10 minutes or so. And the other tools, it's about one per 15. And so that's what I mean when when I say it's significantly better. That being said, all of these skills are peripheral looting skills, which means they're all like sub 10% on going into it. The actual main looting skill is typically like 30%, but all these are like 3 to 7 is the kind of average. Analysis being the outlier there at about 10. Oh, well, we'll skip those. I'm not trying to kill that vampire, honestly. Unless it aggroes. Then we already have a fancy armor on. It's going down. Alright, I'm glad she went and kind of rejoined her people over there. And because we've had a little bit of luck in the past where these guys are at, let's I like to do a double drop every now and again. When we're kind of out by these vampires. And then we'll switch back to the tree cutting. Oh, no luck. It's definitely hit or miss, but I hit often enough that I kind of like to tempt fate a little bit while I'm out here sometimes and do a couple of drops. Here and anywhere where the big groupings of vampires are, I've had reasonable hits before. I don't remember what it was. It was probably something not amazing like oil because I'm not the best miner, but you see they're already starting to respawn a little bit. I'm pretty sure these trees weren't here when we first got here. And so they're likely respawning since it's been a second since we started, but someone else could have came through kind of on the front end, and we wouldn't have noticed as the respawn filtered it back in, just because it's so dense here. Might even be more dense than your coworker, although that might be a stretch. And so we've got a couple percent on that resource gatherer, which is nice. I don't think so there's no unlocks associated with it anymore. I just like working it up. Since we're out here gaining these peripheral skills for the looting, and since the looting percentages are so small, you don't see giant leaps in your looter level out here. It just backfills in and kind of supports, um, is my belief. Again, there's been no official statement on that, and so that's just what I believe, um, based on kind of what I've been seeing. Because they've made comments on what affects loot uh, total value, but they haven't really talked or made too many statements on what affects the loot composition you get. And so what I mean by that is when I kill a 100 ped creature, how much of that 100 ped is just shrapnel versus how much is going to be the animal hide, or how much is the more higher markup items in that mixing. And so that's what I mean when I'm talking about loot composition, the breakdown of the individual items and the respective statistical, like how statistically likely you are to receive them. I think we can grab this one without too much fear of them aggroing, and maybe this one over here. Oh, we're definitely tempting fate on this one a little bit. I will try and circle around because there's trees on that back edge by the wall a little bit a lot of times. And so there's vampires in all the kind of good tree areas down here, but they're kind of grouped in the center, and the trees are all the way around the outside. And you see all those trees on the back edge like I was talking about. We'll be grabbing all those up next. Probably coming up on breaking this second tool here real fast too. Oh, that was a nice grab, 19 boards. And that's the other thing. You for sure still get that 90% return almost every time out here. With the caveat is occasionally you'll get like an 85% or an 82% run, but they're pretty few and far between, especially as your skills get up a little bit. And so mostly I can almost count on a 90% return every time or a little higher. Alright, and we'll be able to grab these other two without aggroing these guys either. Oh, those trees are right there. Let's grab these guys. And then we'll kind of work our way along the back edge a little bit, maybe. All sorts of trees on this other edge, too, where there's going to be no um, vampires at all. They're only going to be in that area we just left. Until we get across the road to the next grouping. Oh, and we're getting close to being encumbered. So we'll have to use our vehicle trick. Back, let's start getting that vehicle ready for that trick. So the trick here is the vehicle has an inventory, and you're going to fill it up to its capacity. Then you're just going to drop the vehicle. The wood is no longer on you because it's in the vehicle. You then recall it to storage. And because we're in hell, we'll have to collect it from hell's storage, not from Rocktopia's storage. Just so that no one's confused on that. But now it's not weighing us down, and we can keep going. The person who told me about it was actually using pit bulls. I just haven't bought the bullet and bought the pit bull for the extra storage. Mainly because I don't think it's really that necessary for us. Between our Slipnir and our little hover pod thing, and if we get really desperate, our quad wing, um, that's plenty. And I guess if we were doing this all the time, we could collect up our other little starter cars, because I still have the one from the Calypso starter package. The hover pods from Arcadia. I think I have a helicopter or something from Rocktopia that they give you as part of the starter chain, or the newbie chain of missions, or whatever you want to call it. No, the skills come pretty quick, and the resource gatherer goes up really quick in the beginning. But like I was saying earlier, there's no unlocks associated with it, and so it's just see how much I've done this type act. Not like some of the other ones where you unlock serendipity at 30, you unlock this other skill at 40, or no hidden skills. I guess is what I'm beating the drum on a little bit. But I do like to see it go up. Oh, what just happened there? I clicked on the other one somehow. Especially because the skills are valuable and useful for what we like to do anyway. But again, this area just has so many trees that it's super nice. Especially if you are used to tree cutting on Calypso, which is where I started my tree cutting adventures. Back when they were doing the gardening plots of land and stuff like that. But again, we'll only get a few points of zoology, I bet. We take a look. We've gotten almost 2 points. So again, it's not super crazy fast, which is also why I like to use the skill pills, just to kind of boost that activity up. Plus, we get them whenever we buy the starter refill packs, which I like to buy over the ammo packs because of the skill pills. I'll loot pills 50 pack in the trade terminal, and so I feel the value you get from the skill pills is probably significantly different than the 5 cents you get from the auto loot pill, which is what it costs you to just buy one 50 pack for like an hour, I think. Might be 30 minutes though. I haven't used one for a minute, but I'm pretty sure it's an hour because I think the red ones are an hour and 15 minutes that you get out of the boxes. But you see, there's still a ton of trees, and we're how many tools in? Almost 3 full tools in. We'll be swapping on this one. And that's the third tool broke right there. And so we're rocking some skills. Our intelligence is going up. Who doesn't like to be a little smarter? I mean, until you're surrounded by all dumb people. When you're the smartest guy in the room, you need to find a new room. You know what? I'm feeling a little froggy. Hopefully we don't hit another zilch, but I wanted to throw another probe down before we move on to this huge tree over here. Oh, a bust. That was a nice boost on our surveying skill, though. 1.4 points. You tell we don't do that very often. We're starting to do a little more of it, though. Now this area is starting to get a little sparse on trees. 3 tools in. I said a little sparse, but there's obviously still 6, 10 trees left, somewhere in that zone. Oh, we're getting close to being encumbered again. Which is why that guy was using pit bulls, so he could drop everything into them. And drop them and just go for hours on trees. Not sure if these are respawns or just the edge of where we stopped on our first like kind of circle around. We got a good chunk of that resource gatherer. Flip side, let's pull up and you'll see. We got maybe 1% of our looter level. Maybe it was only 0.5% where it rounded up for us. I wasn't really, we didn't pull it up and track it. I just know that sometimes that's how that works, where you really just went up 0.5%, but you passed the rounding threshold. Somehow I clicked the far one. Let's fix that. We got a fair amount down here still. That's nice. So we'll just keep churning out. We'll break this tool over here too. And I don't really have an end goal as far as my total like resource gatherer level or anything like that. It's just something I'm glad we're working up because we need the other stuff. And so I don't have a, oh, I want to be level 60, I want to be level 80, 100, anything like that. I just like leveling up in general, which I assume is just kind of like an ego thing where I'm like, nah, look, I leveled up again. And I think we've actually been cutting trees out here long enough that we'll start having respawns on the other side in small little patches, and then as it sits, they'll start to fill in back to the density that we were seeing. Oh, broke that tool. And then we're almost back to the vampires. And so that's kind of proof positive that we're getting respawns on the trees already. Also, I don't know why it's proof positive and not positive proof. Like, and affirming, like, see, this is true. I'm kind of curious if we'll break this last tool over on this side as well, which doesn't normally happen. Oh, I see we're encumbered again already. We're going to start really slowing down on the how fast we're running. Oh, nice. We got a nice little run of zoology there. 3 skill ups in a row. That in and of itself is over a point. Like 1.25 points. I think that's about 7 or so more small trees to break this tool. 20, 30 peck per. Large ones are hit or miss, but the small ones stick around for about 30 seconds, so you get about a known amount of swings on them, like about 7, I think, which I think is 28 peck. No, 14. Nope, gotta be more than that then. We'll count it on the next one. One, two, three, Okay, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'll count that as 12 swings. 12 swings. So that's about 24 peck per small tree that we're able to burn out of a tool. I think we get an extra swing based on the reload gear, but it's only like 1 extra swing. So I think you can still expect, even with no reload gear, to get about 6 swings on a small tree, which is about 12 peck. And so a 5 pet tool, you get a fair amount of trees that you can kind of work through. I know there was, right there it is. I was like, I remember one more on the edge. Oh, there's one down there too. Which is cool because we're getting pretty close on this tool, it looks like. And we're getting really slow on the running. That's the more important part, I think. Anyway, if you just follow this road, you hit trees on each side. Like this road, trees on this side, and then up around, trees on the left side. Then you keep going down further on the road, trees on the right side again. All right, these are gonna be the last couple for us. I don't think we're gonna jump on that other side. I say last couple, but I see 3 at least. But because there's 3 separate areas kind of like this, 2 or well, so 2 or more like this, and one's a little weaker. You can literally just tree cut all day if that was gonna be your thing. So like you come down here, you hit this. This takes like an hour. Boom. You come back. You take this. That takes like an hour. Boom. You come up here. Down in here, I think it is. Where the vampires are. Boom. That's about 30 minutes of tree cutting. So that's 2.5 hours of tree cutting that you can kind of do. And then you go just move and start your cycle again. In 2.5 hours, the first area will definitely have repopulated enough that you could just keep going. See, that one's respawned since we were pretty sure we just came from up there. And so tree cutting is good for all the looting professions. It's just less good for the robot one because a bunch of the skills, excuse me, a bunch of the skills don't transfer over the same. Um, like with the animal and mutant, you have anatomy at like 7%, and instead on the robot you have electronics, which you got to do some crafting or some repairing to kind of work up your electronic skill, I think. I mean, there's probably some other ways, but those are the two that I know of, and they're kind of the easiest, especially the repairing. You just get up on a mothership, let them break it, and you just stand there with a tool, burning ped to get the skill. You get a bunch of other skills as well, so it's not like you just get electronics. You also will get the mechanics, which is kind of the other side to that. I think it's anatomy and alertness, and it's kind of like mechanics and electronics. It's a 7 and a 3, or a zoology. It's zoology and anatomy is what it is, I think. And so anatomy, I think, is normally 7-ish. Zoology is 3. Electronics is 7-ish, and mechanics is about 3. I mean, you can see we have respawns in less than an hour, and so it'll be pretty well populated by the time the 2 hour mark rolls around. And that's actually broke our 5th tool right there. And so that's where we're going to wrap up today. I hope that everyone is having an amazing day. Stay epic.